Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gap where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
According to the American Press Institute website, the purpose and importance of journalism is to inform society with the information they need to live their lives.
Journalism serves many different roles. For most, it serves to inform the public. It's an open medium, meaning the intended audience includes the entire community or public. Hello, Journtastic learners. I am Tutor Nova.
And I am Tutor Zen. We are your teacher, journalists, and tutor tandem.
And this is Campus Journalism for Beginners.
Welcome to ETUlay Live. Alright.
All
Sa
right,
ating mga
so
journtastics, yes, Ma'am Nova, good afternoon to you, to all of you, especially to you, Ma'am Nova, good afternoon.
yes, good afternoon, Ma'am Zen. Good afternoon to our Journtastic learners as well. It's a Tuesday. It's 5:20 p.m., which means to say we are 4:40 in the afternoon to 5:20 p.m. We are going to be here learning with our students for the Campus Journalism for Beginners. So, Ma'am Zen, how are you doing? It's Tuesday. It's Choose English Day.
That's right, Ma'am Nova. It's Choose English Day, and it's Tuesday, as in two, 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 two. All right, Ma'am Nova.
Right. They say this is something does not happen, diba? Most of the time. It's very rare. So it's 222. It's Tuesday. So it's also perfect
Mm-hmm.
because Tuesday is Choose English Day and it's also 2222. All right, a lot of twos. So happy
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, Ma'am Zen.
Yes, happy Tuesday to you, Ma'am Nobs, and happy Tuesday to our Journtastic learners who are with us in this afternoon. And with that, Ma'am Nova and our learners, all right, so these are the tutors who would be with you in this afternoon session. We have Tutor Nova from SDO
That's me,
Bugu City. Yes, Ma'am
right?
Nobs. And also, this is Tutor Zen from SDO Agusan del Sur. And we are also with Tutor Josa from the SDO Manila. All
Right. So
right.
we are actually the trio tutors and we are coming from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, all the parts of the Philippines. So from Cebu to Agusan to Manila. So it's from the
Mhm,
Luz Viminda tutors for
mhm,
campus journalism for beginners. So Ma'am Zen, this is going to be a fun-filled adventure today in our topic for campus journalism for beginners. And hopefully our student viewers can also try to interact with us on our comment section because this is going to be a 40-minute discussion. This is a live session, so hopefully they can interact with us on the comment section. So we have
mhm.
here, Ma'am Zen, let's also try to acknowledge our
Our
punctual
learners.
journalists, our student
Yes, Ma'am
journalists
Nobs.
for today. We have Renz Guyver
Mhm.
Calianta. He is
Yanta?
watching all the way from SDO Malabon. Hi to you, Renz.
Hello, Renz. And also, we have James M. Maswangat. Good afternoon to you, James. And we also have Aliana Munsayak. Good afternoon, too.
That's true. And we also got here Enrico Dalupan, Rizame Orbon. Enrico, I'm not sure where he comes from, but Riza, she is coming from Ocampo National High School. Thank you so much to our punctual students who are with us
Mhm.
here. And you can also try to interact more with us in our discussion today. Please feel free to express what you think, being you are a student journalist. As they say, the average person, we are journalists in our own way. So we can spice things up here in our campus journalism for beginners in our session today.
Yes, Ma'am Nubs. And before we also proceed, Ma'am, I'd like to acknowledge my students from Onislaga National High School. Hello, Shane Tating, and also Laika Jane Miguel. Good afternoon to the both of you. So here we are, Ma'am Nubs, and our dear Journtastic learners. We are already on the second week of our session in Campus Journalism for Beginners. And this is still on the foundation concepts in journalism. All right.
This is the part
Okay.
two.
That's right, Mom Nose. And with that, also, let's have the target goals for our session this afternoon. So, what do we expect after this? So, to our learners, after this session, you can or you are expected to review the previously discussed concepts, especially the ones that we discussed in the week one. The next one is to determine the roles of a journalist. And the last goal that we are targeting in here is to reflect on the role and qualities of a journalist.
There we go.
All
So
right.
now that you are guided what is expected after this 40-minute session. So before we go
Mm-hmm.
on to our lesson proper, Mamsen, why not let's have like a warm up exercise on our topic today. We call it the four pictures, one word. And I think our Journtastic learners are quite familiar with the drill on how to play this game. This is quite
Yes.
easy, and I think quite easy to spot on because we have what we call guides, the four pictures as their guide for them to give the correct answer on what the word is being described through the four pictures. So they need
Mm-hmm.
to comment their answers on our comment section. You need
Comment
to do that
section.
as fast as you can.
Yes, that's right, Mom Nobs. So here we go. I think, Mom Nobs, our dear Journtastic learners are ready for this activity. So let's get started.
Let's get it on. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So here are the pictures, and also below the pictures we have here the clues or the letters that could comprise the word that we're looking for. All right. So what do you think, our Journtastic learners? What do you think is the word that is being
Right.
described by the photos in here? Mm-hmm.
We have here television. We got there a man wearing a suit. Is that Man
Oh.
in Black movie? No, we also got their papers and then, newspapers. And you got there the clue. It
Mm-hmm. Yes,
has
I'm not.
S and an E. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. We
And I
got here.
think
Hmm,
yes, our learners have already um
spoken.
given their answers. Yes. All right. So we got in here from James Malangwat. Maswanga,
Maswanga.
rather it's yes, it's newspaper. And we also have Renz Giver, newspaper. Giancarla Daro Orquez, newspaper, and Enrico Dalupa, newspaper, and a lot more of you. So let's
They
try now, Mom
are quite
Nubs.
confident with the newspaper.
Mhm.
Let's reveal, Mumzen, what is the correct answer here.
Yes, Mom Nubs. The correct answer is newspaper, and most of our learners got the correct
Yahoo!
answer.
They
Good
got
job.
it. All right,
Yes.
let's go to
Now
the
let's
next.
go. Yes, Mom Nubs. The next photo, or photos rather. Okay, so what do you think, our dear Journtastic learners, is the answer for the second set of photos? Mm-hmm.
Ooh, a lot of papers,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of readings, a lot of writings.
Yes, and we
Looks
also
like
have the clue letters, or the letter clues below our pictures. Okay, so we have here from Jezreel Isver Tombaga, journalism.
mm-hmm.
Okay, Althea Keynes Sepe, the journalism. Eloise Rizame Frederick May, John Carla. Now let's try to reveal, Mom Nobs, the answer for the second set.
Dun, 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 dun,
Mm.
dun. It
Uh,
is journalism. They got
journalism,
it. Quite
precisely,
easy for
yes.
them. Okay, let's move on to the third one, Mumzen.
Yes, Mom Nobs. So this is the third set of our pictures. So to our learners, what do you think is the word we're looking for in this third picture?
We got there a
Okay.
dog as a symbolism for this
Mm-hmm.
word. We have the national flag, the
Mm-hmm.
monument, and then a person
And
having that
yeah.
kind of gesture or posture or what you
Mm-hmm.
call the pose.
And we have yes answers in here, Ma'am Nobs, from our Journtastics. We have from Jezreel Steele, Independence, Mary May, Independence, Frederick, Independence, and a lot more Independence answers from our dear Journtastic
Ooh,
learners.
let's see if
Okay,
they
so
got
let.
it right.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Independence is correct. Good job, everyone. The last set.
Way to go. We are one more. We have
Mm-hmm.
one more. Four pictures and one word for you to guess. Okay, what's this?
Mm-hmm. Our donors today are quite good. What do you think, Mom Nods?
I absolutely agree on that. Most of them are also my students. They're coming from
Oh,
City of Bugos Senior High School. Hi to them. They are
wow.
participating well. I'm just quite proud of them. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, they can be our student journalists of the week. So we would also like to
Mm-hmm.
announce that weekly we are going to be featuring and picking the best student that we will be giving the title as a student of the week. So hopefully they can be that student by participating in our live sessions and also in our DepEd ETUlay's Facebook page
Facebook
by
page.
submitting their outputs there, wherein we will be assigning an output for them to do this week, and we will be
Mm-hmm.
announcing it later on to the um, final part of the program or our session, Mamzan.
Yes, ma'am.
So that
Yes, and also yes, the we are looking for the student journalists of the week. The
are
week.
you the next student journalist? But before
All
that,
right.
Mamzan, let's review the answer for this picture.
Yes, because we can see a lot of answers from our dear students, and it's advocacy. All right. Good job and well
So
done,
they got
everyone.
it. Four pictures, one word, and we have four answers. So hopefully they were able to get a perfect score onto this four pictures, one word. So
Mm-hmm.
these four pictures, one word, the answers to these, we will be tackling it also in our session today. Well, actually, we also tackled it last week, but
Mm-hmm.
we will also be continuing the discussion today because this session is the continuation part of our discussion from a week one. So it's week two now. It's a part two of our discussion from the week one. So, Mom Zen, our last picture here is telling us advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
How about
That's
you,
right.
Mom
Ma'am.
Zen? What is your
Mhm.
advocacy in life? And maybe we can also try to associate it as an advocacy becoming a journalist, because as they say, we
Mhm.
are also journalists in our own way. What is your advocacy, Mom Zen? Let's try to do this, short sharing here, and hopefully, our students also can try to
To
process
share.
this question and share it on the comment
Mm-hmm.
section. What is your advocacy
Mm-hmm.
in life? What is your advocacy
Yes.
in life?
Yes, but before that one, Ma'am Nobs, good afternoon to you, Carlos Malonza. Hello, how are you na? All right, so my advocacy in life, Ma'am Nobs, given that I am part of the people in the academe, so I am aiming to proliferate knowledge, especially to the younger generation and to our learners, and do hope that we could reach a lot more students for them to learn more, not only in campus journalism but in all subject areas, if possible. What about you, Ma'am Nobs?
Well, my advocacy in life is actually to mold minds also, Mamzen. I have always been, I always believe that when we do something in the
Mm-hmm.
academic part, when we do good, we make our parents proud. So my advocacy in life is also to mold minds. And I think I am here one step closer to that advocacy because I am a teacher. So hopefully our students also have their own advocacies that they can share on our comment section as well.
Yes, that's right, Ma'am Nobs. And we would love to read your advocacies sorry, here in our comment section. All right. And talking about advocacies, Ma'am Nobs, let us now try to know what are these advocacies or what are the roles that are expected from a student journalist or even a journalist. All right. So
Okay, let's try
let's,
to tackle that.
yes, Ma'am Nobs. And with that, let's have these roles of a journalist. And let's have the first one, Ma'am Nobs. Okay. So the first role of a journalist is to report or describe an event. All right. So,
Hmm.
yes. And as a journalist, you students, it is your role, it is your responsibility to present the facts, specific details of the events that you want to include in your write ups,
Mm-hmm.
especially. Yes, that's right. And not just also facts, but verified facts from credible sources. And this does not just end with collecting those facts. You need also to present these facts, present the information, your writings to the public, especially if the public needs to know what this issue or what are this information about. All right.
That's right,
And
Mamzen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also going to the context of campus journalism, Amzan, maybe we have here students who are watching with us right now who are in our comment section. Maybe they could also share if they were able to become part of a campus journalism or a campus paper, I must say. If
Mm-hmm.
they're part of that, maybe one of them here on our comment section are writers, diba? So after an
Mm-hmm.
event, maybe we call it siguro my foundation day. Tapos they are tasked to write about it. And one way to do that is to report or describe what the event is about. Now, as a student
Mm-hmm.
journalist, that is one of our roles. Diba? To report or
Mm-hmm.
describe the event, especially right now, we are having the COVID-19 pandemic or the COVID-19 virus. So, not all of us are required to be present in that event. So one way
Mm-hmm.
for our for the other students to know what happened is to read your output or is to read the school paper. So it's important. We have an important role to report or describe an event, although they were not presently there. But because of what you have written about, they were able to be in the know and to
Mm-hmm.
really feel that although they weren't there, but because of the detailed report that you have written about, they felt like they were also there.
Yes, they were also in the event. That's right, Mom Nobs. And that's for the first role for the student journalist. Now let's go to the second role of a student journalist, and it is Mom Nobs.
The second role that we have here is to explain and interpret the event.
Mm-hmm.
When you write something, you shouldn't just be giving the specific details. We know the basic ones, the four W's and one H, the who, what, when,
Mm-hmm.
where, right? And then the how.
How
So
question.
those are the lead ones. But of course, we need to expound and explain also and interpret the entire event, what's going on there. So, because as we say, the purpose of journalism is thus to provide citizens with the information they need to make the possible decisions. So, it is a way of like explaining it further so that they will totally interpret and know really the deep things about that certain
Mm-hmm.
report, right? Or that certain news write up you were publishing about. So,
Mm-hmm.
explaining and interpreting it. Because, first, as a journalist, you shouldn't be just giving them the literal details, but it should also
Mm-hmm.
include interpretation of the details or the facts that you have gathered as a student journalist. Now
Yes,
we
Mom
also
Nobs.
move on to the third role,
Mm-hmm.
Mamzan.
Yes, ma'am knows. And the third role is to forecast the consequence of the event. Now, you already know the basics, right? Right, like reporting, describing the event, explaining and interpreting the event. But also an important role of a student journalist is to forecast the consequences of the occurrences. Say for example, for this is the um we have in here in our country, we have the upcoming election for this year.
Oh,
Yes, on those. And as what you can observe, our dear learners, there are a lot of interviews conducted for our presidential candidates. So maybe if you're observing or if you have watched one of those, you can see or you could observe that there are the platforms presented by the presidential candidates, like each of them. And when you're in your writing, you can use those use those platforms rather. Nabubulol ako, Ma'am Novs.
it's okay. It's
use,
okay.
use those platforms, Ma'am Novs, for you to have for you to try to interpret or for you to try to predict what would be the future condition or status of the country based on the platforms presented by the presidentials or the presidential candidates.
Right,
So
Mamsen.
yeah,
And we can
it's
also wrap up these three roles by it's having this hierarchy of roles of a journalist. The first
mm-hmm,
role is the basic one, the most basic. It's
basic one.
describing the event. And then we go
Mm-hmm,
to the next level, which is about interpreting it, which is giving more facts about the certain
mm-hmm,
report. Now, the third one, we go to the topmost priority or the topmost part of the hierarchy, which is forecasting it or
yeah.
laying the possible consequences of a certain report or that certain event. So we can say that
Mm-hmm,
this presented three roles of a journalist. it does not only end here, but we are just giving you the three what we call the
Okay.
fundamental role of a
Yes.
journalist as a student journalist also.
Mhm. Yes, Mom Loves. And to add to that, Mom Loves, our dear journalistic learners must not be confused with the word interpret to giving opinionated statement. You need to
Right.
interpret, yes, Mom Loves. You need to interpret the event based on facts, based on what is true. And it is different with the opinionated one because it's just purely on your perception as the writer, as an observant of such phenomenon. So you really have to make the distinction between the two as a campus journalist. All
True.
right.
You have
Yeah.
the voice also, but never abuse that voice as well. So also,
Yes.
Mamzan, I think we should also have this time to read one of our journtastic learners, Carlo Malonzo, because we were asking
Uh-huh.
earlier, what are your advocacies in life? And he was able to answer this question. So hopefully the others can also express what are their
Share.
advocacies in life. So we have here
Yes.
Carlo, and he said, the definition
The,
of advocacy is the act of speaking on the behalf of or in support of another person, place, or thing. An example of advocacy is a nonprofit organization that works to help women of domestic abuse who feel too afraid to speak for themselves.
for
So
themselves.
maybe he was just giving about this, meaning what advocacy is about, but I must also say, maybe his advocacy in life has also something to do with this example that he was giving us in
Mm-hmm.
the comment section, right?
Yes. Maybe Carlo also believes in the protection of the women against these abuses. All
Yeah,
right.
women
Mhm.
empowerment, perhaps. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's move on to the next part.
Yes, Mom Knobs. And we have in here in our screen our dear fantastic learners the 10 practical tips for aspiring journalists like you. And these are proposed by the author of the Journalism for Filipinos, Alito S. Malinao. All right. So here we go. What could be this tip for you, our dear fantastic learners? Let's get started for the first one, Mom Knobs.
Ooh, let's go.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first one, be inquisitive. From the word itself, inquisitive, be a curious type of a student journalist or curious of type individual. Like, do not hesitate to ask questions. All right. If you are a campus journalist, you must not hesitate to raise questions, particularly if the news story that you are working on right now has these sides that are still unclear or doubtful for you. Like if you need answers for this part for this area of your story, then you can raise questions, especially to the credible sources or to the main source of your news story. All right. So never ever hesitate to enter an office or to ask someone from a position for you to get an information. It's always
Mm.
you must have the persistence, Mom Nubs, in order for you to succeed in campus journalism. Be curious.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Di ba, Mamzan, in school, like we have a lot of events, and as a campus journalist, you are given the task by your school paper advisor to write a feature article about this event. And to do that,
Mm-hmm.
to make the write up even better, is for you to ask questions or even interview people, because
Mm-hmm.
the that's also a great substance that you can make the report, what do you call this one, even
That you
better.
can.
So
Yes,
never
Mom.
hesitate to ask questions. They might
Mm-hmm.
say, medyo shy ako, teacher, to ask questions. I can just rely on the things I have observed in the entire event. But it is
Yes.
also important that you can also gather information from the other people. That's, it's also important to know from them. So never
Mm-hmm.
really hesitate to ask questions.
Question. Yes, Mom Nubs. Especially if the students are asked, Mom Nubs, to conduct an interview with the school principal or the school head or the school president. It's the
Yeah.
usual reaction that we would have is, "La, nahihiya ako, baka magkamali ako nito." Ayan.
Yeah, school
So,
principal yan. Oh
mm,
my. I might not be able to really ask a good question. So um
question.
as a student journalist also, Mamzan, they should also
Mhm,
prepare possible questions they can ask kasi they know naman what they're writing about. The thing is
mm,
that they just need to prepare possible questions, and then once they are already on the interview, they can also try to ask for follow-up questions that could
Questions.
also expound what the explanation
Mm-hmm.
about that certain idea or the certain stand.
Mhm, that's right, Ma'am Novs. There are instances kasi na pwede natin makaligtaan yung mga, questions in our prepared list, but in the follow-up
Yeah.
questions, at least, yes, we can cover or we can somehow, bridge the question that we have left in our list.
Also, Ma'am
Ayan.
Zen, to add to that, since
Mhm,
all of us, siguro, we were able to watch naman mga news on TV before mga teleserye, di ba? May mga news naman yan. So I really
mhm,
hope that our student viewers are into watching news because it's really important to know what is happening around us. So, di ba, may
mhm,
mga newscasters and then may mga field reporters. Tapos,
mhm,
when they are giving the news report, they're actually giving it live. So there are also instances wherein the news anchor also asks some follow-up questions, diba?
questions.
So
Yes.
parang it's like parang yung voice ng news anchor, parang yung mga ina-ask niya na follow-up question, maybe those are also the questions na yung mga nanonood is
That you yes,
waiting to
would like
know.
to know
So
about.
would
Yes.
like to know about. So it's like
Mm.
serving as the voice of the viewers. So ayun, may mga follow-up questions because as a student journalist, you should also be prepared for that. And you should also try
Mhm,
your best to not be shy to also ask questions because that
mhm.
might lead you to a better write-up or a news write-up.
Yes, Ma'am Novs. That's right. And with that, Ma'am Novs, with the first tip that we had, let us now have the second one. And it's on this. Be constant in your purpose, our dear student journalist. Meaning, you should stick to your aim to become a journalist. All right. So if you decided yourself to engage yourself in journalism, then you must stand for it. You
Commit to
must
it.
commit to it. That's right, Mom Novs. There would be obstacles ahead, especially when you are going to join the campus journalism. But always remind yourself that whatever obstacles that will come in you, that will come on your way, you must reach your target goal no matter what. Yeah.
Right. You should have that burning enthusiasm within you.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba? As they say, lahat naman ata ng bagay, Ma'am Zen, kapag kakasimula pa lang, parang andun yung lahat ng excitement, di ba? Parang you're always interested kasi kakasimula pa lang, right? But
Mm-hmm.
ang pinaka-challenge talaga is to keep that enthusiasm going,
Going. Yes.
na pangmatagalan, yung nagtatagal, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Yung parang
Mm-hmm.
ika nga, lalong tumatagal, parang lalong mas nag-i-ignite yung gusto mo na i-pursue yung something, right? So be
Mm-hmm.
constant in your purpose. May mga times siguro na, 'di ba, in the school year, kaka-start ng school year, may mga sign up naman tayo na ginagawa. Kung gusto mong broadcasting, gusto mong mag-feature writing, gusto mong mag-sports
Mm-hmm.
writing, so minsan, siguro yung iba sumasali kasi, "Uy, sumali yung friend ko kaya sali rin ako." Kaya parang gano'n. So, parang yung
Mm-hmm.
ikaw hindi mo talaga alam ano talaga yung purpose mo. Am I joining because of my friends or am I joining because I
I
envision
would love
myself
to.
to be a journalist in the
Mm-hmm.
future, like as a
Mm-hmm.
career? 'Di ba? Yun naman
Mm-hmm.
yung purpose ng mga school events or yung mga school organizations is that we wanted to what do you call this one? Parang nurture our students for them to become better in choosing the career they want to pursue in the future. So
Yes,
same with
ma'am.
that. As a student
Mm.
journalist, you need to know what your purpose is. You need to know
Mhm,
why. You need to stick with the reason why you want to be a student journalist. Am I doing this because I'm just bored, or am I doing this because I really love to become a student journalist? You need to keep
mhm,
that fire burning within you.
mm. Kaya nga, dear Journtastic learners, no, it would be better if we will be pursuing a career that comes from our internal motivation. Like, yung
True.
mula talaga sa ano natin eh, mula sa
Puso.
atin and not from the external. Puso talaga, ma'am, that's alright. Not from the external factors. It's from you.
Mm.
Mhm.
'Di ba? 'Di ba, Ma'am Zen, kasi as a teacher advisor, may mga times na yung student, yung kakasimula pa lang, kasi nga willing to learn, willing to accept mga challenges. So kapag pinapawrite mo, parang, uy, parang andun pa talaga yung interest at motivation niya. Pero pag nasa middle na ng school year, parang ang
Mhm.
pag-submit ng mga outputs niya for the school paper is hindi na medyo active. So parang nawawala yung
Mhm.
purpose niya why she wanted to join the campus journalism or the school na school paper.
Yes, and with that, Ma'am Nova, no, just like what Ma'am Nova had said earlier, during Tastic Learners, always remind yourself as to why did you join in the first place. Ayan.
True.
So that's the second tip. And next, we have the third one. It is to be fair and balanced. Would you like to do the honor, Ma'am Novs?
True. I think for this practical tip, it does not only apply siguro sa journalism. It also applies to life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
minsan you would say, you know what, the world is unfair to me. Why is it so? 'Di ba? Parang may mga ganun na mga deep questions, right? So same with journalism. You also siguro parang inaas mo yung question na, am I being fair or am I being
Mm-hmm.
unfair? Parang ganun, 'di ba? So
Mm-hmm.
as a journalist, it is a must for you to maintain neutrality, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you when you write something or when you interview people on the campus, you also need to, for example, Ma'am Zan, yung parang para mas ano natin yung context ng be fair and balanced. Siguro, if may mga, let's say, may event na yung student supreme government na may,
Mm-hmm.
di ba, dalawang opposing
Election.
parties yun, di ba? May election na nangyayari, baka may meeting de avance. Tapos, ikaw, as a journalist, you're also part of the, para mga people na need mag-vote, right? And then,
Mm-hmm.
gusto mo doon i-highlight yung parang isang party kasi andun yung friend mo. 'Di ba? Say for example,
Yes.
andun yung friend mo. So parang when you write the write up or when you write the story about it, yung
Mm-mm.
ina-highlight mo is yung opposing party lang. Just
Mm-mm.
because you're quite
Friend mo.
biased with the other party because you know someone was there. So
Mm-mm.
as a student journalist, you shouldn't just be writing or highlighting a certain party. You should be neutral about it. You should be
Mm-mm.
fair about it. So be fair and balanced when you write something, when you interview someone. So if you are going to interview one president from that party, why not interview also the other president
Other
so
one.
that the things
Mm.
will become fair and balanced? So again, as a student journalist, when you're writing stories in the campus, maintain neutrality.
And also to add to that, Mom Novs, in bigger context, um, when it comes to being fair and balanced, you can always, or if you practice as one, you can keep your dignity and reputation as a journalist. Like you are the kind of journalist that cannot be swayed by any amount that would be offered to you just for
Mhm.
you to conceal the truth. Ayan. So that's the third tip for you aspiring journalists. And next we have here the fourth one. Be genuinely interested in people. Dear student tactics, no? You need to have this real love, real interest in the people who surround you and in the events that are occurring around you. Like writing is about people and events. Like you write an article and the contents of it are mostly for or about these people. So if you are not interested in interacting with people, then how can you come up with a good writing? All right. So you cannot gather information as well if you do not interact with people. You cannot know the facts if you do not interview credible sources. And that sources are still people, humans. So you need to have this genuine interest, real interest in having or interacting, engaging in this type of people or in these
Well
people.
said, Mamzan. I totally agree on that, right? Because as a student journalist, may mga certain na mga events na need mo talaga mag-approach ng mga teachers or principals
Mm-hmm.
mo or mga co na students mo. So, classmates mo kumbaga. You really need to set aside yung parang siguro may mga times na we're kind of shy, diba? So, sometimes yung shyness natin is nakakapag-hinder ng ating parang gustong malaman, especially if essential siya in the story
Mm-mm.
we are writing about. So be genuinely interested. You are approaching that person because you genuinely know that that person could help you out in that certain story you are writing about. So they could
Mm-hmm.
contribute to that certain story or that certain output you are writing. So be genuinely interested in people. Hindi naman yung parang nakikita sa face mo yung parang reaction na parang you're just throwing that question or approaching that person because I just had to. I mean, I was tasked by my teacher to approach you. Then I have no choice. It shouldn't be like that, di ba, Ma'am Zen? It should be like
Yes.
you're approaching that because it's your interest. You're genuinely
Mm-hmm.
interested in that.
Mm. And with that, Ma'am Nobs, I would like to say that journalism is like also building connection with people. Yan.
True.
Mm-hmm. And next we have Ma'am Nobs, seek the truth, the fifth tip. All right. So in this part, dear student journalistics, you must, as a student journalist, never be led by hearsay. Okay. So just because you have heard a piece, just a small piece of information coming from a person,
Oh
totoong
my.
news na yon or totoong information na yon. Di ba, Ma'am Nobs, we have the term marites. Ayan, may hugot ka
Mare,
dyan, Ma'am Nobs
anong
eh.
latest?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Uh,
hindi ko alam if it's true na na-coin ang word
mm,
na marites because it means to say, Mare, anong latest, di ba? Sa campus naman natin, di ba, Ma'am Zen, may mga times na may mga group of students talaga na sila lang yung parang nagiging close or they go together, they eat lunch together. And then siguro may mga times sa campus nyo na may sinasabi sila na certain issue and then
mm-hmm.
they are standing up about that issue and then yun yung sabi niya. So parang ikaw na student journalist, you are believing because sa grupo nila, 5 sila nagsabi. So parang you are convinced na what they said was the truth. So never
Yes.
led by the hearsay, di ba?
Mm,
Hindi yung parang sabi lang ni Marites,
mm.
parang yun na yung
Yun na yung
paniniwalaan mo, 'di ba? Yun yung papanigan mo.
mm,
So never panig kung ano lang yung sabi-sabi nila. You should
mm.
validate it. You should
And
try
also
to.
mhm.
Yes, Ma'am Zen.
Yes, and also, Ma'am Nobs, this tip is actually anchored also practically in the saying that goes, "The truth will set you free."
Set you free.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yes. Uh-huh. And that's the fifth one. Now let's go to the sixth tip, Ma'am Nobs. And this one is for you to be resourceful. All right. So, as a student journalist, you must always be at the lookout for writing materials. Like as a student journalist, you must know where, when, or where to get information that you can use in your news story. All right. So do not just simply settle with the fact that this person does somehow have or that somehow has this information with settle for that one. So pwede na maghanap pa tayo ng other sources that would
Mm.
make our news story more credible. Yan.
True. It also goes by saying, Mamzan, when you are resourceful, when you want it to be resourceful, you it also means to say that you also need to be a researcher because you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
also validate the things now you wanted to base your write up about. So you also need to research more. That being resourceful is
Mm-hmm.
also meaning to say you need also to be a researcher.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Mom Nobs. And the seventh one is we have the words have guts. All right. So, as a student journalist, do not be afraid to stand up and fight for the truth. As a student journalist, you are protected with the rights, your constitutional rights here in our country to express or exercise your freedom of expression. So, if you're a student journalist, especially if you know yourself that you are not stepping across the line, then do not hesitate. Do not be afraid to stand for the truth. Do not be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. So have
True.
guts.
As long
Mm-hmm.
as you know that what you're standing for is the truth, then you are on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to take risks sometimes, right? As long as you know that you're taking risk, it's for the truth, nothing but
Mm.
the truth. So
Nothing
we
but the
go
truth.
on to the eighth practical tip, Mumzen.
Mm-hmm. And this one, our dear journalistic learners, you have to establish your skills in grammar. All right. So we believe that, or we know that none of us is perfect. We can sometimes make lapses, make errors in our constructions, but always make sure that you do your best to observe the correct grammatical construction of the sentences that you're writing for. Now, in this part, you must start with the basics, like knowing how to construct sentences, basic sentences, so that you can proceed with the complicated or the more complex skills when it comes to writing. And of course, our dear learners, when it comes to speaking, it's pretty typical, or it's okay to commit some errors when you're speaking, especially in your grammar, because some of these words might be forgotten, right, Mom Nubs?
Yeah,
Yes.
right. I mean, we cannot avoid grammar mistakes, but as much as we can, we should make it perfect. Because as they say, nobody is perfect, but grammar is something that you can perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, even though it's just maybe you are speaking or maybe you are writing, you
Right.
should really make it to a point that your grammar is on point or is
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
so that your readers and your viewers or audience will not be perplexed. You wouldn't be they wouldn't be confused on what you're trying to convey. You are on the same page because 'di ba kapag may grammatical error, maybe yung gusto mong ipaabot sa kanila is hindi nila na nagigets masyado because there is a misconception kasi yung grammar mo
Mm-hmm.
is mali pala. So ayun, you need
Mm-hmm.
to master your grammar, our journtastic learners.
Yes. Yes, I'm nuts. And also, one of the secret for achieving perfect grammar, or um, perfecting your skills when it comes to grammar, is somehow being stipulated or described in the last tip for you aspiring journalists. But for the meantime, let's go to the ninth tip, and it is to know your medium.
Media.
All right. Yes, that's right, Ma'am Nod. So to our dear Journtastic learners, you can make an honest assessment of yourself, especially when it comes to journalism. Like if you think that you know that you are not really good in this area, then you must admit that one. All right. It's not like we are discouraging you not to pursue that one, but it's like encouraging you to develop more or improve your skills to that, especially if that is your weakness. For example, if that is your weakness, you can somehow focus on that for you to have that one as your strength rather than
Yeah,
your weakness.
true. Like to give an
Mm-hmm.
example, Mamzan, because I've also handled broadcasting before, and I have handled different types of students, and but my
Mm-hmm.
different languages sa broadcasting, kumbaga may Cebuano, my Filipino na
Filipino,
broadcasting, my
English.
English na broadcasting,
Mm,
and so I have this experience na my student na wanted to become part of the English broadcasting, but parang medyo hindi niya ata fully strength yung broadcasting in English. So I just gave her an advice na it's much better to go to the Filipino one. So
mm,
as student journalist, you should try to assess yourself also, para you know what are your strengths are. And it's
mm-hmm.
also great to know your strength, but as they say, when you do something, it's okay to start to be great. You don't have to be great to start, but you just have to
Mm,
start for you to be great. So which
right.
means to say, when you wanted to be good at something, di ba, hindi naman automatically when you wanted to be great on something, you will start to be great na.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
That's right.
medyo good pa lang or minsan bad. So right, there's
Mm,
always room for improvement, but it's also important to assess yourself on what the
mm-hmm.
things you can do and what are the things you cannot do yet. You
Yeah,
try
yes.
to assess yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Mom Novs. And with that, let's have the last tip, Mom Novs, and it is the secret of all these tips. Also, you can apply this one. This is for you to read, and read and read a lot. Reading and writing are inseparable in journalism, our dear journalistic learners. Meaning, these two skills, writing and reading, they cannot be separated from one another. It's like reading is a prerequisite in writing. Like you cannot write um what do you call this, brilliant ideas, or you cannot write creatively or creative ideas if you do not also read. All right. So
True.
you can, yes, and you can get a lot of information out from reading, whether it would be daily basis, much more good when it's daily basis. Like if before you go to sleep, before you go to school, or before you do something in your typical day routine. So why not try to have at least 5 minutes of reading so that
True, Ma'am Zen.
yes, you
Yeah,
can
siguro
improve
may
your
iba yeah, maiba dito siguro, Ma'am Zen, who are thinking na, you know what, I don't really like writing because my vocabulary is very limited. And siguro may
Mm-hmm.
iba sa kanila na, I can write, but I can't really write creatively. Well, siguro there is a factor na hindi ka reader. Kaya medyo hindi
Mm-hmm.
nasa-spark yung creative or critical thinking skills mo. So, again, what we are trying to say is that reading and writing, they go together. It takes two to tango, which means to say
Mm-hmm.
that you really have to, give importance to both of these skills, reading and writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perfect ingredient for you to become a great student journalist. And
And
that is
yes,
it.
yes, Mom Nobs. And also with that, Mom Nobs, there are also a lot of writers and authors who encourage um their readers to read. And one example of that is J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry
Yes,
Potter.
yes, and she tells everyone that the secret of everything, the secret of having good writing is for you to read, and read a lot. It's like a yes,
True. All right. So
true.
there we go. Our Gerontastic learners.
Mm-hmm.
Our time on the clock is 5:22. We're kind of 2 minutes over the time, but hopefully you were able to take note of the 10 practical tips and also
Mm-hmm.
the role of a student journalist or journalist in general. So we wanted to stay much longer, but we don't have much time. So we will just be giving you the assessment on our next week's session. So for
Mm-hmm.
now, let's move
For
on
now,
to
no.
um
Wait.
yeah, so we'll just have
Okay.
this true or false game on the next
Mm-hmm.
session that we'll have, which is going to be next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
And
move
also, Mom,
on.
no.
Yes,
Yes.
Mamzen.
Um. Maybe we can leave our students some journalistic tasks that they can accomplish for the week,
True.
so that we can also select our
Student
what do you call
journalist
it?
of the week.
Yes, student journalist of the week. So let me just show this
Yeah,
one.
so
Okay.
we are looking for the student journalist of the week. Are you the next one? So
Yes.
please comply on this one. Okay, here, Mamzen, can
Mm-hmm.
you do the honor, please?
Yes, and this is our journalistic task of the week, our dear students. Out from the practical tips discussed earlier, select one tip. Then create a photo collage which reflects what you have selected. Out from those 10, our dear students, no? If you can still remember. And then you make a collage out from that photo collage of yours. So your output, you can post that one in our DepEd ETUlay Facebook page or Facebook group rather, and you can also use the hashtag campus journtastic task.
Yeah,
Ayan.
so please
Oo.
comply on that for us to
Mm.
feature you as our student journalist of the week. And for my students in City of Bugos Senior High School, so if you will be complying on this and you will be selected as a journtastic student journalist of the week, then you have an advantage. So hopefully that's enough motivation for them to be
Mhm.
good at campus journalism or to be a student
Yes.
journalist in their own way.
And same also with my students, Ma'am Nobs. And also before we're going to end our session, let us also remind you, our dear students, that you need to be careful of the outputs that you are posting or you will be posting in the Facebook group. As much as possible, the outputs must be originally yours.
Not
Right?
copied from the others who submitted earlier than you. So hindi yung
Mm-hmm.
parang ni-recycle mo lang or ni pina-paraphrase mo lang because it's from them. So you should try to make it out from you talaga. It's original output from you.
Mm-hmm. And also, Ma'am Nobs. Ayan, so we are excited, no, to see the outputs of our students for this task of the week. Ayan. So,
All right.
by the way, yes, Mom knows our dear journalistic learners, we are using the Campus Journalism in the New Generation book, and this is with the author Jelly Eligeo Alquino, 2011 edition. And please stand by, our dear learners, because next after this, we will be having the e-teatro class. And do not also forget, yes, the link that we have in here at the bottom part to our dear learners, you can take a screenshot of this and also provide feedback to the session that we have today. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, our dear Gentastic learners. This has been Tutor Nova.
And this has been Tutor Zen.
Thank
Okay,
you
so
so
let's
much and see you next week.
See you in the assessment, the review. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!